Whenever I do reads on people, I look into their soul, and often I am drawn to say, "Hello, beautiful." I say it on the inside so they can't hear me, but I say it directly to their soul so their soul connects with it and hears it. I want to tell you a little bit about how I take someone through a read experience to get to their own "Hello, beautiful" when they look in their own eyes.
Hello, and welcome to the Constance Messmer Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in.
First up, I dare you to go look in a mirror, look deeply into your own eyes, and say, "Hello, beautiful." And I want you to say it out loud, like you mean it, because you should. I think I've told you before that when people come for a session, I always see their light and their talents and their gifts and their magnanimous soul. I actually have to pull back to see what darkness clouds any of that. And if you've been listening to my podcast, the last two episodes have been about our sense of self love and how it can get muddled or lost, whether it's because we weren't validated, appreciated, or connected to our primary caregiver in our infancy and childhood, if that was a constant situation, or if you had one pivotal moment that threw you off your game. In regards to the infancy and childhood experience, there's studies have shown that if you at least, because parents can be busy, especially if there's more than one child. If you've for the general amount of time, if your caregiver was connected to you, then you can pretty much get through your childhood feeling this sense of self-love. But what I want to do for today's session is do a little check-in on what I would actually do with a client in front of me. And so because there's many of you, I'm not going to go into details as much as I'm going to lead you on what you might consider doing for yourself. As you listen to this episode, you can either sit with a journal in hand or you can do what many of you have told me you're doing. You could be out walking and just ponder as I bring you through the exercises. So this first step, I want you to really tune in to your claircognizance, that knowing, right? Or you might have a clairaudient experience where you hear words. Either way, use your soul awareness to get the answer. I invite you to put your hands on your thymus, which is in your upper chest, just beneath your neck. This is the area of self-love. And I want you to ask, what's my block? What's my block? What's here? Is there heaviness here? What's here? And I want you to trust the first thing that comes up. And it might be the thing that's kind of, just repeating over and over and you're pushing it down. But I want you to trust what you get. I want you to kind of just honor the energy or the feeling or the first thought that bubbles up. You might not feel you have any blocks. That'd be fabulous. But if you do, just note them because what that will do is it will help lead you to where you might have an associative block in your body. And you might even ask, what chakras are affected by any energetic disconnect of my thymus? And if you're not interested to know the chakra, I do the chakras because it helps to realize what each chakra relates to. Much like some of the examples in the past that I've told you, sometimes when people have the thymus self love is off, it might be connected to the sacral chakra. Just sexual issues, creativity, new beginnings. A lot of times relationships are found there. It could be connected to your brow chakra, which we haven't got into yet, but it could be about, negative self talk, right? Or you can even ask this kind of energy that's out of balance in my thymus or area of sense of self love. What area of my life is affected? Trust the first thing that you get. You know what's crazy? I was doing the exercise too. I put my hand to my thymus. I didn't even get my hand on my thymus. And my mind said, "You're hard on yourself." And I was like, oh my God, I am hard on myself. I so did not see that coming. Now, listen, you could put your hand on your thymus every day this week and might get a different answer. Be okay with that because it's little bits, right, that want to be healed. Once you start tapping in and tuning in to your soul awareness and your soul's getting the attention that it deserves, your whole system will start come together to, reach out for healing, if you will, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, all of it. So be okay with what comes up. I'm gonna have to really look on the I'm hard on myself. I am. Definitely. I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely hard on myself. Okay, now you're either gonna really love me or you're gonna be like, I don't like you anymore. I'm turning you off. But bear with me. I want you to make a list. If you're, walking, you could do this in your mind or do it when you get home or wherever. I want you to make a list. This is the warm, fuzzy, cold, prickly list. Remember those lists? Listen, I want you to write down or bring to mind things that you totally love about yourself. What are your positive attributes? You know, just all sorts. And do it on all in all areas of your life, how you are in relationships, how you are in your work world, how you are in the world at large, how you think, how you feel, just anything that, talents, gifts, anything that you love about yourself that you're like, "Oh my god, I want to this person is so cool because they're this and this and this and this." All the things that you love about yourself, all the things that if you were in a classroom in grade school and the teacher said, "Okay, everybody write warm fuzzies about each other," what would you highlight about you? And you know what Spirit is saying? This is really fascinating. Spirit is inviting some of you to put these on yellow sticky notes, right? And kind of create your own little calendar of constant reminders of kindness. Wow, or put them around your house. My sister, God, my middle sister, Carol, when she comes to visit, we all love when she visits because after she's gone, we, like, find these random notes of love that she's put around the house, and it is such a beautiful surprise to come across one of her love notes. So Spirit is telling me, have them do love notes like Carol does love notes. So I invite you to put these wonderful, beautiful attributes on either yellow sticky notes or on cards or wherever, because I want you to remember how lovable you are. Okay, this one, not so much. This is not the love notes, but it really is actually the love notes. Do you remember, like, when you ever go to therapy or you're having that hard conversation with someone, that difficult time where you're like, listen, I really love you, but could you change this part? This is the cold, prickly part. I want you to recognize parts of you that are not aligned with self love, parts of you that you don't really like, right? Parts of you that you want to change, right? And I'll just give you some of mine. Like sometimes I can overschedule and be so busy that I create my own inner angst, right? Or I let important things slide that I really want to do because I'm wasting time in other areas, right? Or my cold prickly list would be sometimes, I don't do negative self talk anymore. Can I say that? I worked that one out. So that's good. We're going to get to that too on the brow chakra. But maybe you have a negative self talk reel that you want to change or shut off, pause button, erase. But I do notice that I hand over my power, which is interesting, right? We know what that's relating to in my life because we're pals and I've told you almost everything about me. So these are parts that threaten my self love, that are not aligned with my self love, that put a damper on my sense of self love. So do the cold prickly list. The way you are that you don't really care for. One of my kids recently said that I can be a bossy. I'm definitely can be a bossy pants because I go into protective mode and my kids are in their 20s, so they don't need a sassy mom in protective mode. I need to learn how to talk to them differently. So that's a part that I recognize that I'm missing the beat. And how does that affect my self-love? Because I don't feel like I'm being the best parent when I'm smothering them instead of mothering them or empowering them, right? So these are things. Now, I know what they're linked to in my past. They're linked to me being in a state of danger, and therefore I want to make sure my kids are safe and protected. So it is linked to a time, a significant moment in my life where my sense of self-love and trusting in the world and everything was thwarted. So these are some of my lists of the cold pricklies. Parts that are not aligned with self-love, parts that I beat myself up over and I want to change, right? So, look in all areas of your life again, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. It could be that area of me that grabs comfort food instead of going for a walk or whatever, right? What do I want to change? What is not building self love, but actually tearing it down? Make that list. Cool, prickly. This is what I don't like about you, Constance. This is what I don't like about I really love you a lot, Constance, but these parts are kind of annoying. Yeah. Hey, as you follow my teachings, I've created this journal to be your companion. Your 11 Soul Senses is a journal for self discovery. It's an invitation to deepen your connection to yourself and the world around you and others. This is a good thing. Your soul senses are experienced through your higher conscious awareness. Through them, you perceive the spiritual aspects of your environment, the energy patterns, vibrations, soul level experiences, and underlying feelings. I'm laughing because I'm reading a script and it's going a little slow for me. Fully tuning into your world in this way, you increase your awareness and you begin to live your unlimited potential. These are my words, but I had to write them down to remember them. This, this journal is for you to document your quest for self discovery. This is a good idea. Definitions are in there to help you understand how you are perceiving through your soul senses. Don't forget, I'm all about contemporary language. Prompts and quotes that we've added guide and encourage you. The empty pages are there for extraordinary exploration as you connect with your own higher states of awareness. I think I moved my eyeballs away from looking at the camera. But listen, to get yours, I want you, I invite you, I'm encouraging you to head to constancemessmer.com and check out my shop. Listen, I did it for you. All this I do for you. You know that. I believe in you. You got this. Thanks for tuning in. So when I do see people and do reads, I often see potential futures. Like, wow, why are you doing this? Because spirit says you're really talented and gifted and could be doing this. And then they're always like, oh my God, I've always wanted to do that. Or, oh, I'm afraid to do that or whatever. It's all the warm fuzzies. You're capable of this, 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 and this, and this. And there it is. But then it's the cold prickly type stuff that I have to pull back and go, oh, I know why. I know what's blocking you, whether it's low self esteem, feelings of being inadequate, or all that stuff. And so I can often find that on the thymus. Where's their sense of self love and their sense of being willing to take a chance in their life? And so I invite you to pull back and have, take some perspective, look from a distance at the lists of things that you love about yourself and the bits that you don't care for in yourself. Usually you can trace the don't care for back to things that happened in your experience that kind of set you on a trajectory of patterns that is not suitable for you or not for your highest good. And so I invite you to now kind of think, all right, what's a new strategy or a new pattern of behavior that I want to set up in my life for a more lovable you, right? What new patterns of behavior or new strategies in your life that you want to set up for you to go from these cold pricklies to self awareness and self love. I will tell you this, that the path to self love is full of self kindness, it's full of self compassion, and it is full of following your joy that comes out with spirit all the time. And so, if you think, like, what is your aim or what is your goal? What patterns do you want to stop having on repeat, repeat, repeat? Look with this new perspective of self kindness, compassion, at those cold pricklies to see what needs to change in your life so that you might stop doing these kind of autopilot things that you've been doing for whatever reason. Example for me with my kids and not smothering instead of mothering, it really was recognizing that the control for me stemmed from the fear of bad things happening because bad things did happen to me. And so once I kind of started recognizing that, I could catch myself in the moment of where I wanted to be overprotective to kind of back down and teach them how to be self-caring individuals and alert individuals also, that they can navigate their life in their world with proper choices. And it just kind of diffused it for me. It changed things up for me. So for you, just looking kind of maybe taking one or two of the cold pricklies and thinking, what do I need to do here? Where does this come from? Where does it originate? And where do I want it to be instead? Or how do I want to be instead? I promise you, once you set that intention to work on it as a personal kind of goal to work with, it's going to start flying in your face and you'll have opportunity to constantly create change with that pattern. So, your goal with this exercise could be to change some patterns of behavior that actually tear you down instead of build you up, right? The other thing is it could be an overarching goal. Remember, I said self love is connected to not being happy or a general kind of malaise. Maybe what you do is you take the time to write out what you're not happy about in your life and then maybe you make your wish list for something better, whether it's a better job, a better partner, a better sense of self. And then with each of these, not getting overwhelmed, discouraged, or like, oh my God, it seems daunting. Take a breath if it's starting to feel that way, because sometimes people have not followed their feelings and their whole life is in shambles. I hate to say that. And they get overwhelmed. And I'm like, whoa, no worries, reel it back. It's coming up because it's time. It's perfect, perfect timing. Feel good. It's fine. And then sit back and look at what is your aim or what is your goal or what is your desire. Maybe it's to, start a new career or be a better person. So if it's be a better person, maybe you look at the cold prickly list. If it's a better partner, what do you want in your partner? Are you willing to bring the relationship that you're currently into a better kind of arena for both of you? So you would have to look at what's working, what's not working. And then how do I get to the what not working to make it work? Where do I hold myself back or where do I need to be more honest or forthright with the person that I'm partnered with so that the relationship can get better? This is important information when you realize, especially with partnerships, that you're with this other person so much of the time. I have this sign in my kitchen that says, "You can't run from you." So, in other words, sometimes I notice that we blame our partners for our stuff when it's really we need to look at ourselves, right? This is really about you get right with you, and then it really will sort itself out. You'll get very clear on your partners, very clear on your friendship, very clear on your work. It's really about you getting present in your own being kind to yourself, being compassionate with yourself, and following your joy. So, again, what is your goal? What do you want to change to bring yourself to a greater sense of self love? So, because we have a limited amount of time and energy, I encourage you to choose what makes you happy. Now, some things that you might want to change so that you can be happier in your life may mean that looking at these things that you want to change or taking the strategic steps to step into a new life or new pattern of behavior. Some of this may stretch you, it might feel uncomfortable, you might be brought out of your comfort zone. But in the long run, you have to ask yourself, where do I want to be, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, next month, next year, next week, tomorrow? Where do you want to be in relation to yourself, right? And what's the best use of your time and your energy? And what's really, really going to inspire your happiness inside of you? Listen, take it from a gal that used to brush things under the carpet because I didn't want to deal with them, right? I'm going to just deal with what I want to deal with and everything else I'll just like put in the back closet and not deal with. But it just, you just trip you up. It will, especially under the carpet. It will trip you up. And then you'll disconnect and you don't want to do that because really, really self-love and being in line with a lifetime that leads you to happiness or that you're in your happy place. It's about self-connection, right? And it's about honoring what your needs are and honoring the parts of you that you want to change, right? And building your sense of self love by recognizing who you are and what you're working with, and really having that opportunity to create change in your life in no matter what area that's calling to you. I think that springtime, if you're listening to this in the springtime, it's a perfect opportunity to kind of plant new seeds for your best life. That's such a metaphor, right? But it's true. It's like, where do I want my future to be? If you're feeling unhappy, if you're feeling a sense of, like some of the clients that I've worked on, self-loathing or self-disappointment and not self-love. It's really about taking the time to honor yourself, tune in, be kind, and do what makes you happy. Like, embrace these changes in your life, looking at what's not working so that you can co-create a better life for yourself. Do you remember ages ago I told you that there are many ways that people heal when they come to me for sessions? Sometimes I have to go into the story of what the block is about to help release the block. That's what we've just done. Is you go into what is the cold prickly about? What is the energy here that's keeping me or blocking me from self-love, right? Other times, there's no story to go into. There's no deep dive. Sometimes it could be a past life regression that needs to happen to look at a past life as to the block and what it's about. But sometimes there's not a deep dive into the past, current life. There's not a deep dive into a past life. It is just embracing and stepping on the path of self love. From this moment forward, that's the intention. I'm going to do everything with self kindness, self compassion, self knowing, self awareness, feeling my feelings, and moving forward into my joy. What brings me happiness? Sometimes we do have things happen that because we're pursuing something that might be uncomfortable because it's a new situation or whatever. So it's not always smooth and easy, but it is steps towards self love. So perhaps one of these resonates with you. Maybe you need to dive into a past life, closing your eyes, put your hands on your thymus, realizing, okay, is there a past life that I need to look at? Let the story come up, let your soul awareness guide you. Or it's going into the cold pricklies and seeing, why, what makes me that way? Why am I overbearing? Or why can I be hard on myself? And you look back to the story in this incarnation that kind of perpetuated that concept in your life or that way of behavior in your life. Or pure and simple, you just step on the path of self love, doing all things with self kindness, things that make you happy. I think you're gonna know exactly what you need to do to help bring balance to your thymus and your sense of self-love. And now I dare you to look in the mirror and look deep into your own eyes and say, "Hello, beautiful. Hello, beautiful." I'm gonna guess you're probably gonna smile. I hope you are. And I also hope that you gathered some new wisdom from our time together today. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this session or know someone that could benefit from it, please share the love, tell your friends, or, encourage them to subscribe to the podcast or leave a review. That's how people find me. That would be fabulous. Hey, Constance Messmer here. I just want to do a shout out of big thanks to all the members. I am so grateful. And all the people dropping in and giving little donations here and there and super thanks and all that stuff. I really appreciate you. You members and you people contributing and subscribers are what helped me bring this content to everyone, really. They both contribute to the cost of production, and I am definitely grateful for that. This stuff is not cheap to put out. Oh my God. Oh my God. So every little bit helps. And I am filled with gratitude that you're stepping up. I am not necessarily a joiner, not usually, but there are environmental issues in other organizations that I do belong to and I contribute to because I like to see them persevere. And I'm hoping you feel the same about this work. I hope you put it into practice in your life. That's another way that you could spread this work and help change our world, which is what I think it ultimately does. As you know, I think if everyone tuned into their soul senses, the world would be a much better place. So when you subscribe, it's a big yes vote for the content, and it helps spread the work across the planet. So when you put the lessons into practice and subscribe and like and share, you help me help you carry the lesson beyond you and me. And I am just really grateful. Legally speaking, this podcast is presented solely for educational, spiritual, and entertainment purposes. It is not intended as a substitute for medical diagnosis, treatment, or the advice of a physician, psychotherapist, or other qualified professional. You should not use this information to diagnose or treat a health problem or condition. Always check with your doctor. Thank you.